There are moments in life when something begins to pull at you and you don't know why. When someone feels like something's changing, like it's off or things aren't the same, what they're really saying is they're in a transition of some kind and it's happening, they're in it. And when they say that here, when we're in a conversation, in a deep dialogue around this, I'll suggest that it's time we get really quiet and then begin to ask questions that are intended to probe and poke around to see, well, what's really happening in there? How do you feel? And what's actually changing in your life? Eventually getting to a place where they can begin to articulate for themselves what it is, because on some deep level, they know, they have a sense. And that's the work of getting to that deeper knowing. If we're patient and willing to listen and surrender ourselves to the process, to abandon expectation and all the other things that can get in our way, like the ego can get in the way, because the ego wants to figure stuff out. But we can say, we're not here to figure anything out. We just want to get to something. Let's just look. So it's a very gentle, easy, no strain process. Being able to name the feeling is really important too. Is it anger or sadness or a sense of foreboding or anxiety? Just to name it and not do anything with it. And to help you to begin to be able to articulate for yourself, to put words to what's happening with no judgment. Just put words to it. It bears saying that the territory that we're moving into can be challenging. The thought that might cross your mind is this real? How can I trust it? Or it feels like confusion. Sometimes when we encounter a fracturing moment in our lives, something that really shakes us up, whether it's the loss of a loved one or an accident or some response from the universe that gets our attention enough to shake us up. When we get to that, there can be a bit of confusion around it and a bit of a fog. And we don't want to resist the fog or the confusion. It's not like there's something wrong now or there's something broken or wrong within us. It's actually an artifact. It's a thing that comes with life in terms of challenging experiences, that we would have a sense of confusion or uncertainty or not knowing. And to be able to just be with that, to be with it and explore it a little bit without doing anything with it. There's great value in not trying to get a result or to get to an end or a goal, but just to look and to look deeply and honestly until something begins to open, like a light coming on. But we're not even trying to get to the light. It's just something gets illuminated and we see something more clearly than we ever saw it before and see the value in whatever it is that we think went awry, that went south on us. It's like, oh, there was value in that. I learned something. And now I have a lesson that I can take going forward, leaving the burden of it behind. So what happens when someone ignores the feeling or ignores that intuitive sense or ignores the pull or the call is increasing discomfort. If you don't numb it out, if you don't distract yourself, you'll notice an increasing discomfort. And if you continue to ignore it, in a way it's like to say, don't worry, it'll get louder. And it may be something small that gets your attention or something big, like an accident, that really gets your attention, that really gets you to stop and look to see what's happening here. The hope is it doesn't have to be that big before we begin to pay attention to what's happening. And when we begin to pay attention, then we start to notice other things that go with it, like noticing signs and indicators that maybe I'm on the right track. I like to say, when you see a sign, take it. Instead of trying to overanalyze, or was that a sign? It's like, yeah, that was a sign, take it. Let it be an indicator for you. All the numbers line up on the clock, 555 or 333. You can interpret that as a message from the universe that you're on track. Think of trackers and hunters in the forest being able to pick up trails and broken twigs and bent grass to say, here's a trail, here's a sign, here's an indicator we're on the path. It's kind of like that in our lives, especially when the trail gets thin or it begins to disappear. We really have to utilize all of our senses to find our way. And that's in marked contrast to a life of safety and predictability, even boredom. Ships aren't meant to stay in the harbor. We're meant to go out and explore and experience the extremes and find our way and to know our way. So when you start to really listen and follow the trail, a certain confidence comes with that, a certain feeling of empowerment and a sense that you're on the right path. But also, too, it requires an ever-deepening trust that your senses are giving you good information. So it's about trusting yourself and following your intuition, following your sense of things, trusting the way that opens before you, and then having the courage to keep stepping into it and seeing what you find along the way. So there's curiosity there too, and a sense of adventure. And when we can put the ego to rest and quiet the fear that the ego usually stirs up, and that's the importance of a morning practice or a meditative practice that helps us to quiet the ego so we can listen for what's real and true. When that happens, life takes on new meaning and a new level of excitement and purpose. We're filled with a sense of purpose that maybe we didn't have before. And maybe it wasn't the purpose that we thought we were seeking. It's a purpose that's truer to who we are, to our heart and the core of our being. So if something inside you is calling, you don't need to be able to understand it yet. You just need to be willing to listen. So I hope that was helpful. Remember to stay close to the fire, and I'll see you next time. Adios.